Hello everybody, so today we are vodding some Exterminate Furia. So this is plat 3, we're on Stone Keep. And we're up against Triple Tank. Okay, that's a new one. And we are Dive. Okay, this is a really weird matchup because we have 3 squishies who want to kill tanks, right? Basically, we have short range, we have big damage. That's usually tank burn. And then we have 2 tanks who definitely do not want to kill other tanks. Ash and Ruckus tend to have pretty bad tank matchups. Um, Not all the time, but they generally want to go on squishies. So this is going to be really weird because your dive has like no follow-up. Um, Generally, it doesn't really matter how tanky their tanks are. If their backline is dead, they will eventually just fall over. And that's what you guys would tend to play for with this sort of tank line. With this sort of, this sort of back line, you'd expect maybe your own main tank and a slower off tank, because they have 0 damage, right? Like that's not something that you would previously say in the past with those tanks, but really they only have the Lex and the Barrack. Does the Damba have DR? He does. Okay, so it's going to be slightly difficult. Alright, so what you're trying to do, you're trying to farm your ult as quickly as possible, right? Going Exterminate here I don't think is the worst play. I kind of just default to Cherish in these games, honestly. I think it's fine. What kind of talent is the... Oh, it's Pluck Macaw. Yeah, you're going to be farming ult. So, yeah, Exterminate's fine, I think. It's not a bad decision here, especially because like your team is kind of playing for tank burn, and I noticed that when you're not in like Masters games, people tend to always send a tank to point, or even 2 tanks to point. That's not really what you guys want to do because you guys don't win point. So if you don't win point and you go to point, you're only going there to stall it really and give your team time to win the fight somewhere else. But even then, like you'd maybe rather have those resources that your tank could provide helping you guys win the fight. So we'll see how this plays out. You're probably going to take high ground because Exterminate Fury is disgusting on high ground. I would 100% max out Burn No if that card is broken. So that is up to you. But like I'd recommend it. I'd take a point out of HP to max it out. If you want the other stuff, the rest of it is like the Furia cards and the beam range. You could start Morale if you wanted because you're getting your ult in the first mid. So, oh, it's Gourd Damba and Hurl and Burn Monster. Okay. So, okay, this is gonna hit him, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, good beam. Generally, here, let's wait for beam noise to stop. So generally, people don't like let themselves just get absolutely blown up like that. Like people don't tend to run into exterminate beams very often. No Rezo. Wow, that's good for you. So what I like to do is I like to either I like to stand here and throw a beam like this, and that way it sort of just pops out of the wall right here. But that was a good beam because he saw the Makoa. Big heal. You didn't have to reload, you had like 10 ammo. Okay, your team is absolutely demolishing them. Here, so I made a video called The Cost of Causing Crowd Control, right? Which has a great acronym. But just like a small thing, like you didn't hit the beam, you're probably not going to hit that beam. The NR is probably going to see it coming and just step to the side. You're better off just shooting her, you know? Like the cost of you actually throwing the beam is like you lose out on like a chance to do like 3 or 4 shots. Just do those 3 or 4 shots instead of hitting the beam if it's unlikely to hit. Now you cap. So this Makoa is actually making a mistake here, not because of his like what he's trying to do. He's trying to like squeeze through to get like touch and pull people back and all that stuff, and that's great. But I think he's doing, is he hugging the wall? Yeah, he's hugging the wall. So this is a mistake in paladins because there is a bug with shadows in this game where if you have shadow detail at maximum, you can unironically see people's shadows through walls sometimes. You should have everything else at low. I just have texture detail high because it looks nice. So yeah, don't hug walls and have your shadow detail at maximum if you can, because there's a non-zero chance that you could see this Makoa if you had it at max. Are you leaving? Wait, who's on point? Your Ruckus. My God. Okay, it's been a. I don't think Ruckus should cap. That beam's gonna go to the right of the door. If you're gonna throw a beam, have it go in chokes. Have it go in doorways. Spamming beams like that, by the way, is fine. Like, just make sure you have it for the fight. And like, you won't necessarily have it for this fight. You can dash back and help her. Don't worry about your dredge. Your dredge has like, look how much self-sustain this man has, and he's under no pressure. Your Tyra is actually like fighting stuff. Help her first. I'll help your Tyra. He gets the kill anyways, but your team appears to be doing a little bit of stomping. Yeah, that's kind of the way you guys lose. Good kill. If you are gonna try and beam the barrack, do it on his, like, literally, you know, I joke about depositing the beam on people's foreheads, right? But like, that's literally what you want to do, because then they can't dodge it. Oh, monkey, he dashed into the wall. So like, yeah, no Reasel, you unironically 1v1 every single one of their tanks except the NR. So you 1v1 the barrack and the Makoa. Like, you win that matchup. You win that matchup. So I would ego it pretty hard. Like, literally right here, 180, dash into the Makoa, do a 180, beam on the forehead, he's dead. Is this beam gonna do anything? Not really. You kind of threw it into a building where no one was, but... So, small Furia tip that's actually going to be out in the video sometime. Furia's reload cancel is, I think, 60%. So you are very often like reloading and like healing and then like healing people. Even if your heal is up, finish 60% of your reload, then heal. Unless someone's like going to die, unless you obviously need to heal them. But let 60% of that reload finish, then heal. You'll finish your reload and you'll get your heal off, and it just lets you have a bit more uptime. Beam on the... Okay, well... Right idea, just get closer and don't miss, lol. You can push that, it's just a Domba. Same thing there. Like, is that beam gonna hit something? Maybe, it might. It's not super likely to. It's not thrown in an area where people are a lot. You're better off just shooting. And if you don't have beam here, you can beam behind the wall, hit the NR who has no near up. I'd also try to take high ground. Okay, that's lucky. I mean, that's just lucky. But you get the kill, so hey. Something to be said for spamming beams. That was why the Light Forge change was big, because you don't want to do that anymore, but sometimes it works. Definitely try to be high ground here. Yeah. So just standing in mid tends to get you punished. If you are going to play on this side of the map, I would play here, where you can just beam him as soon as he comes out of the doorway. Or if you really want to play back here, then play either below. You can play back here, which gives you a corner to work with. Like, playing below lets you break LOS pretty easy, and also if someone pushes you, it's a very easy beam. You can play back here. This is like not as good, but standing in the open in mid is not great.
30 seconds left. Last one stand and win. 15 seconds.
Haven't ulted yet, and as a Furia into free tanks with Exterminate, highly recommend doing that a lot.
7, 6, 5,
Okay. You get a pick. You ult. Sure. It's heroism. Switch out. Yep. I'd heal the Ruckus. Just because like his ult is pretty important. Hey, you got Punisher standing in mid again. He kind of like took a lot of poke over the course of like a little bit of time. So like you do one of two things, right? You sort of like made the halfway choice. You could either be playing farther back, being more passive, or you could be more up in their face and trying to end the fight earlier. I don't think you're gonna end the fight early versus 3 tanks, so I don't think that option is great. So I think you just play slower. If you play back here, like you're gonna do less damage overall, but you're gonna live, and that like adds up to more value over time. But yeah, it's gonna be really hard to like push that at all. You got a pick and you ulted, so I don't think that's the worst decision, but still. You go Morale 2 if you want. You go Rizel, go Haven. Master Riding might be good, just to take high ground better. Because if you guys have control of high ground, that's so good versus this comp. Just buy something. No, buy something, dude. Same for Chronos Tree isn't usually the play. It's like that beam forces the Makoa to drop off, but like you don't have to send it right away. Like you can save it to see like, oh, is he there? Okay, he's there. I'll beam him. And then like if he's not there, then you can just walk. And then you can do something like walk out here and throw a beam like this, and that way it goes down these stairs, which is a very common place for people to play. Well, Furia was broken, wasn't she? Goddamn. I think you need to be egoing things more, honestly. Like, you're looking at this barrack. Oh, get up in his face. Beam on forehead. Why are you going for that beam? First of all, you do more damage by just shooting. Second of all, you have this Damba right here. Walk over, beam forehead, dead Damba. Just trying to dash through the walls. Like, you're not positioned poorly. You know, you're near your team, you're fighting stuff. It's just like, I think how you're fighting stuff could be better in this case. Go for it.
Alright, they getting hot,
You're looking to heal. Which is like a weird thing to say, right? But like, I feel like you are focusing on healing. There's like, wait for beam noise. You're getting flanked. Hey, you're gonna get punished for spamming your beam in about 2 seconds. But generally, supports, you can do healing and damage at the same time on basically everything. Definitely on Furia. And not everything. A lot of the supports in this game are heal bots now, and stuff like IO you obviously can't really do both at the same time because it's literally a channeled heal. You cannot shoot while you heal. But I feel like you are definitely focusing too much on healing, and that's weird, especially as Furia. Your healing should basically be like something that you think of every, like, what's the cooldown now? It's like 3 seconds, take 20% off of that. What's that? It's like 2.4 seconds? So like healing is something that you think of every 2.4 seconds right now. When you are not thinking of who you need to heal, you are thinking of you're a DPS. You're a DPS when your heal is not up. And that is basically the case for every support. There's no point in thinking about, I'm going to heal this person in 2 seconds. And then you like look at them for 2 seconds. Yes, I healed them. Good job, me. Like, no, it's like you heal them, then you go back to doing your DPS thing. And managing to do both well at the same time is hard, but also very good. So here's where you get punished for. Imagine if you had your beam, right? Look how stupid this Lux is. This Lux doesn't. And you might know that you don't have beam. Like if he does the same thing, you have beam, and you go, oh hello, bonk. Instead of this, you had ult. You could have lived. Thank you, damage immunity. Very cool. He's still in the fight though. That's actually really important.
Enemy dub, look out.
Not just like because it gives you a point, but like for economy reasons. That's a good beam, but he dashes out.
All right, they getting hot. They're getting
So like right here, you see, like right here. You see how you just like stared at your Ash for like a solid like it's small, right? It's small, but it's like the point that I'm trying to make here. You just stared at her. You're like, I'm going to heal you in 1 second instead of like I'm going to try and shoot. I'm going to DPS this Inara and then heal my Ash with my heals off cooldown. Beam, beam, beam. There we go. Nice. That's why you save it for more confirmable beams now. Same thing. You just stared at your ruckus. And another spammy beam in an unlikely area. Like spamming beams is not inherently bad, right? But you gotta recognize that it makes you more vulnerable, and that it's like risky, right? Like if, like let's see if this hits, right? Let's actually follow this beam, right? So it's gonna go down mid. It might actually hit something because the Ash ult. And you catch the Inara. Oh, you catch 2 people. What the fuck? Okay. That shouldn't happen. But it does. Okay, good job. Bad example. We'll look at the next meme, I guess. You're already up one. You're trying to snowball. I don't think I would have ulted this just because I think your team's in a pretty decent spot. Like, I think you kill this Inara, you kill the Barrack, I think. Like, the Inara is just used both for cooldowns, and she's way too far up. The Barrack's 1 HP. The Damba and the Makoa are, like, getting zoned by your Ash. I don't think you need your ult to win this, and I think you'd rather have it for a choke point. If you thought that you could, like, that you needed your ult to win this, and you could snowball this, like you could stagger them into a push, then I think this ult is fine. Which I think might be what you're going for, but I don't think you need the ult. It's like that beam. Hey, let's look at that beam, right? What the heck does that beam do? That does nothing. Literally does nothing. Right? It's just spammy. Nice. Play high ground, please. What does that beam do? Okay. These tanks need to. Do they have resilience yet? Oh my god. Okay. They should have resilience. You're getting too much value out of this. You're also standing far back in mid for no reason again. Hey, this is better. No! No! Keep pushing! Oh my god. That beam was fine because you were aiming for someone. Hey, you get punished for staying back in mid again. This is like the cause of every single one of your deaths, aside from that one time where you wasted beam. Yeah, basically, like the point I'm trying to make, right, is like if you are going to use a spam beam and not like a I'm going to hit this person with beam, make sure that it's like in a common area where people are, and then it's actually gonna have impact. Like this beam, what if this beam hits the Inara, right? What will it do? It'll stun her a little bit, it'll do damage, and nothing else will happen. Right? Good job, you hit a beam. Pat yourself on the back. Did nothing to win the fight though. To help win the fight. But if you're like, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to beam this Makoa, it's like it's a confirmable beam, you are going to hit it. It's going to have impact because you probably killed the Makoa. But like you don't have that option, right? You don't have the option to dash into the Makoa and deposit a beam on his forehead because you just used a spam beam that got absolutely nothing done. Right? So like if this Makoa is dead, you're in a pretty good spot. You can maybe keep walking around, you can heal this Ash, the Damba's 1 HP, maybe you get a kill on that. Like I don't know if he's peeking right now. But if you kill this Makoa, you and the Tyra keep walking through. Maybe your Tyra just like hits nade on him and then he instantly dies. You heal your Ash, you kill the Inara, who I don't think has a DR. I think she just used DR and wall, so she probably dies. They're only left with 2 people. The Barrack's low. Your Ruckus is probably dead, but the Lux is the only person left alive. But instead,
15 seconds.
we're just kind of getting poked out. And you, I don't know if you expected the Lux to be there, to be honest. So that's kind of, oh my god, wow, I actually won that. That's kind of insane. I don't know if you expected him. So it's not a horrible play to like push there, but like you kind of see like how, you know, playing back in mid and using your beams for spam, for bad spam rather than confirmable or good spam, how that hurts.
Capture point spawns in 15 seconds.
Haven 2, sure. I'd probably buy Rizal, honestly, just because they're ults. I think ults are more likely to get you. You could even buy Rizal 1 or Haven 1, Rizal 2 or something, you know, whatever. I think Rizal's important. I think Rizal's important for them too. Oh my god, the Rex still has no, the Lex still has no Rizal. I'd pop ult. So, you know, your team's about to be on top of them. Like, as soon as your Ashe dismounts, that's where you basically want your ult popping. So. That's gross. She ate that, okay. Alright, well, you save ult, that works out, I guess. I personally wouldn't have risked it, but whatever. So if you were to throw a beam here, right? You, like, you know, I'm on cart, cool, whatever, I'm just pushing, I'm not doing anything, I might as well throw a beam, try to contribute to the fight. You want to throw it at a choke, right? So either throw it at a doorway that you think they might be at, right? So, like, if you're gonna throw a beam, probably have it, like, land here.
Alright, they're getting hot,
Your Ruckus take point again? Oh, your Ashe took point. That's very weird. It makes sense, I guess. It's like the Lux is flanking, but you don't know that. This ult is late. There's already 2 of them dead. If you, honestly, I didn't think your team was taking a fight in the left, but like that's not a fight that they should be taking, and it's definitely not a fight that they should be winning. But if you do notice them taking a fight, then this ult needs to happen before the fight starts, like just as the fight starts. I don't know if there's like a good way to sort of like explain when, you know, Furia ult should be popped. But, you know, you get the idea?
Okay, real talk, time to stop that guy.
Beam, no, ego, beam on forehead. You guys like result 1. Where are you going? Unironically, you could probably kill them, but sure. I think you're sort of making like the halfway decisions again, you know? You're not playing passive because, you know, people got on top of you. You're not being aggressive. You're just kind of sitting there and shooting things. You're still staying back in mid. Not really getting punished for too hard though. And trying to dash out through mid is risky. I don't know where that beam was going, but in that case you're better off just shooting if the beam isn't confirmable. You're still Furia, you still like kill things. You could have maybe optimized that a little bit if you didn't look for your cooldowns. You know, looking for the heal. You could have interrupted your reload with a dash. Maybe dash towards him, get the 600 damage, and I don't think you win that. If you're in a situation in like a fight where they can't see you and you can't see them, you want to dash usually, just so that when they do peek you, they get 600 damage for you get 600 damage for free from your dash. It's really good against like Eves and Ice Block and stuff. Nice. So like that spam beam is not a bad spam beam for like. Sure, maybe it's not like super likely to hit, but it's like low risk, low reward, right? Or it's low risk at the very least, right? You're gonna have it back. Cool, whatever.
Alright, they getting hot, Enemy dub, look out!
There's where you'd reload cancel. If you guys ice mines this, like you win every mid except for the last one, I'm gonna lose my mind. Because I think you've already got some value stuff out of this fight. There are like some fundamentals I think you need to work on. Like right here, oh my god, you're taking 1,000 damage for free.
Enemy dub, look out!
That's a good style of beam. That's like one of those like, I love those kinds of beams. I love those kinds of gen assaults where you like ult through the floor. That's really cool. There's no one up there, but like good fought, I guess. Kill Tyra. Tyra's more important. DPS are generally more important. I wouldn't have thought that you would have had to peel back for that, but don't hate it. Alright. So I know I've said like don't stand back in mid, but like as for like what your options would actually be, right? you could run her down mid, and you could just try to put a beam on one of these tanks' foreheads. And I don't think that works, just because like it's last choke and they have so many people there. I think you're either high ground, or you're playing with your Tyra, or you're over here. This is a lot riskier because the Lex could push you on respawns. Or you could just like play back here. This is fine because this is like the slower option, right? Playing like in an offline is more aggressive. I tend to like being aggressive just because it tends to do better in ranked, and it also tends to do better on pushes because the other team kind of just has like an inherent advantage right now. Like look at where their Damba is versus where you are. Like that's just kind of, it's kind of because you're not pushing high ground at all, but it's also just because like he has defender's advantage. He has better map geometry to work with than you do. So being aggressive, like you kind of need to be aggressive because they start out with an advantage. You need to make something happen. Oof. So like if you were with your Tyra, you see, oh, this Damba's up here. You throw a beam at him, maybe that hits. Maybe your Dredge sees that, throws a harpoon or something. That's a good beam. Keep shooting him though. Barrack is the freest hedge. Okay, headshots on Furia. We're gonna wait for beam. Headshots on Furia are super inconsistent because she has a shotgun and she stuns. And Paladin's headshot hitboxes do not like either of those things. If anyone knows how stuns and shotguns interact with headshots, let me know because I'd love to find out. If Furia was consistently able to stun, from like consistently able to hit headshots, even just at base, honestly, but especially when she stuns people with her beam, if you could just stun them and headshot them for free because they're standing still, that'd be absolutely insane. You can't do that against most characters except for Barrack. Barrack, you can actually consistently headshot him. Stuff like Pip too, right? Just because the headshot hitbox is too big. I don't think you can do it against Makoa. Like Makoa's stun animation, like he goes back on his shell, and I don't know what happens to his head hitbox. If it like moves with him, or if it stays up in the air. Like I don't know. I haven't tested it, so. But basically, right. Versus the Barrack, especially, you want to beam him and then headshots.
30 seconds left.
I thought you were going for C9 for a sec. I was really concerned. Yeah, okay, they might still push you. I'd be careful. Yeah. You can see where your orbs are going. There's someone there.
15 seconds.
You see him?
10, 9.
You know someone's there.
All right.
Spam beam, gonna get you killed. Okay, well. He wanted you pretty bad. That's kind of unlucky. But you could have done stuff to like win the previous fight, so. Are you still? You guys are still in this. Heal your buckets. Use your touch. Yeah. You need to be aggressive here. You need to be aggressive because they're gonna have respawns. You need to win the fight quick. You guys do not have initiative. You don't have range. That means you go fast. You're staring at him, waiting for heal, and use this bad spam beam again. Like I could probably nitpick other things, right? But I think that pointing out themes will help in other games, not that aren't just this one. Like we could nitpick the reloading at 13 ammo if we want, but we could nitpick how you're, backing up when you kind of need to be aggressive. I don't know. You weren't gonna win the fight anyways, but like, yeah, I don't know. I guess the reason that I point out like themes instead of specific stuff is because I think they will help in more games. But I feel like I've repeated myself enough, and usually by the end of the VOD we tend to get into more specifics, so let's do that.
5, 4,
Rizal, you still need to buy Rizal.
2.
They still have Damba and an R ult. Right now your only way to live those is if you counter ult, and that's not really a trade that you want. Ooh, they're actually coming up top. So like you had the right idea, right? Oh fuck, there's a fight going on. Ult. As soon as you see them there, as soon as you realize my team is gonna go in, like you have a wind up, right? And your team hears that ult, they're probably gonna go in. Probably. So like honestly, as soon as you see them there, it's like, oh god. You should be fine Hi Damba. I don't know why you dropped. That's really weird to me. I think that high ground is super abusable for you. I think playing with your dredge, because you knew the Lex was behind. You kind of just forgot he existed. And he's killed you both your DPS. Thank God you guys have Furia ult. Like you guys, this is really stupid for the other team. It's stupid because like they don't win high ground doing that. They shouldn't win high ground. You have a dredge, you have a Dyra, you have Exterminate Furia, you have 2 good AoE ults on your tanks. This is not a fight that they should win unless they pull off some Jeezy bullshit. They tried to. They almost got it. The Lux did a good job, but yeah. So I think you stay high ground is the short version. You win high ground. They're high ground. You can kill them high ground. You have good matchups there. The other thing I want to point out is like when the Lex comes around, you have 2 options, right? If someone is flanking you, your team is about to be pinched. You're all stacked. There's people on a lot of angles. You have 2 options, right? You can either peel back and try to fight off the flankers, or you can realize, hey, there's 4 people in front of us. We are 5 people. If we take this fight fast enough before the Lex gets on top of us, we have like a free advantage. That's an option you can take. I think it's not as good this game because they have free tanks. It's going to take you a long time to kill them, so I think fighting back the Lex is fine. But just that's something you might want to think about for later games. Make sure you're capping. Okay, I'd be very careful about pushing this by yourself. This is how you lose. Like support, it's getting like in like scrappy, messy fights. Like the most important thing is that you do is stay alive. Like even if you have the chance to make a play, making a play as a solo support is so risky in messy fights because like the longer the fight goes on, you're just gonna give more value, right? And like in messy fights that the other team shouldn't win, you dying is like the way that they win, because if you stay alive, they have no chance. It's like you have to die for them to win those messy fights. Like most of the like 99% of the time, you have to die for the other team to win like a messy fight that they shouldn't win. So you playing life is super important, and this is a messy fight that they shouldn't win. Like there's so much, like there's stuff going on. There's respawns. There's like both of your tanks are on point right now. Your Ashe and your Ruckus are both there. Your tires coming off respawns. There's a 1v1 going on. God knows what their respawns are doing. Like this fight is getting very messy very quick. So just make sure you stay alive. Basically, going near this Lex by yourself is yeah. And if you are gonna if you are gonna go near him, or you have to go near him for some reason, then make sure you're taking a fight at close range where you can throw beams easily. It's traded. You just kind of missed that. Close. God, Haven Veteran is an item combination. So 2 things I'm going to say here. 1, Burning Oath at 5 helps a lot here. And 2, you are very out in the open. And that's not great for 2 reasons. 1, because you Exterminate Furia, it makes your beams harder. And 2, because it means you can get shot by other people. If you're going to back up here, try to back up in your cover somewhere. If you're thinking I need to keep distance from the barracks so his shotgun does less damage, that is also fine. This is risky. This is frontlining. If you've ever watched a VOD before, I probably mentioned frontlining aside, which is when you, as a support, are the first person that the other team sees if they flank. So here what I mean is like the Lex is going to respawn soon. The Lex is going to either respawn, he's going to respawn Church, which is where you are, or he's going to respawn Keep, which is where your Ruckus is. If he decides to go Church, he decides to go low ground, he decides to flank around. God, I love beam noise. You're the first person who's going to see. You're going to have to take a 1v1 versus a DPS. You could win it. You're Exterminate Furia, or just any Furia, to be honest. You can win that. Sure, that's a thing you can do. But you don't want to have to do that, because if you lose it, again, how does the other team win a scrappy, messy fight that they shouldn't win? They kill you. So doing this is really risky because it leaves you open to flanks. It's unnecessary, and you're probably just better off. Like, you'll get more value just playing with your team anyways. Fight with your Tyra, fight with your Ruckus, do something else that's not getting flanked for free. Here he comes. He runs right past you. Okay. He's revealed right now. I honestly think you could just dash backwards and kill him. So, you know, it's really awkward. It's like, oh god, my DPS is over there. I'm over here. There are people on me. Oh my god. Like, this is tough. But it doesn't happen if you play with your DPS. you understand that like this is really risky, right? You might get away with this. I don't know if you get away with this or not, right? You probably don't. You shouldn't. Um, you don't have to try to make risky plays like you feel like this is your only option, right? And it probably isn't. Like you can probably stay back, fight near the doorway back here, and just try to like isolate 1v1s, like fight the Lex while LOSing the Makoa, and then try to fight the Makoa after. Like you probably do that. I think playing around corners is really good for Exterminate Furia. But if you do feel like this is your only option, then like sure, the reason you do this is because of your positioning though, right? Bonk. This is how they win, because now their support is alive, right? And they have the sustain that they might want in a fight. He's not healing. Okay, never mind. They don't have the sustain that they want. Okay. He's not healing. That's unlucky. Hey, we respawned to back mid and we're just kind of choosing the neutral option again. And we're also frontlining aside. Hey, common mistakes. You know what? Honestly though, like I've probably repeated myself for the past however long I've been recording. You are lucky that didn't hit you. Because again, how did they win? God, do you guys lose this? Oh, no way, dude. Okay. Yeah, common mistakes means that you have things to work on and that will help you a lot. Small thing to point out here is that how much cap time do they have? They have 50%. It probably feels like a lot more. Oh god, free at 17 minutes into this game. Messy fight. You guys don't have to touch. You guys don't have to be on point. They have to be on point. You know what that means? Is that you guys basically have a pick. If the fight happens somewhere that is not point and they have to be on point, it's a 5v4. So, you know, don't be on point. Why would you guys ever try to burn point here? Like, just leave point, go kill, like, what, that's a Lux? Or that's the Domba and Church right there, right? On the right side in Hell? Go kill him. Leave point, go kill him, then come back to point if you need to. That's a huge Rook Assault. And they C9. Okay, well, that's an interesting way to end it. Alright, I don't really think I have anything to add that I wasn't repeating for 20 minutes, so. Overall, though, I think you did well. I think... You know what? Like that was what you were plat free, right? I think that was a very plat VOD where like you're, you play the game, you know sort of what you're doing. I think that game was a very wonky game draft wise, so it's kind of hard to like pick win conditions out of that because usually that's like something. But I think that like that's sort of the mistakes that you see in plat is more like minor like positioning things, and then I think you get into wing conditions later, so I wouldn't like worry about that too much. But that was a really good game to VOD. So yeah, notes will be below for the stuff that I think you should work on. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.